This is the best camp that I've ever seen him do with us. I've never witnessed him being this strong, this mentally prepared, and this hungry.
This next one with Islam, I don't know what the streets are saying. I don't really tap in too much, but I know the streets will probably be like, oh, you're just a striker, you know, boxer. Islam's gonna do this or that.
I think a lot of people look at it as like striker grappler, but it's not really. Like Islam's more than just a grappler. Like he's a strong all-round. Obviously, he's one of the best MMA guys. I think a lot of people just think he'll be able to hold me down. I think I got some tricks to get up.
Great day of sparring. The champ, Khabib. And Usman, a good little sparring session. 3 legends. One already is a legend. One sitting down is gonna be a legend, and this guy will be.
He's the best Islam. If Islam right now fought the oldest one, we beat him in the first round. He's not just big, he's strong, healthy, and happy, no longer suffering with the brutal weight cut. He's making everyone around him feel like an amateur. This isn't just a fight, it's a statement. Ali Abdulaziz dropped this bombshell, painting a picture of a fighter utterly transformed, a dominant force poised to shatter expectations. The sheer confidence in that claim alone sends shockwaves, suggesting we're about to witness a version of Islam Makhachev unlike any we've ever seen, one ready to conquer a new division with an almost effortless display of power. This bold declaration sets the stage for UFC 322, raising the stakes dramatically and fueling intense speculation about just how formidable this new welterweight Islam will truly be against Jack Della Maddalena. Get ready, because the entire landscape of MMA could shift. Khabib Nurmagomedov has a clear vision for Islam's future. He wants him to stay at welterweight for good, not just for this one fight. He's looking for historic achievements, hoping Islam will etch his name among the all-time greats by dominating a second division. Khabib praises Islam's preparation and conditioning for this welterweight title shot, calling it the best camp he's ever seen. He speaks of Islam being unbelievably strong, mentally prepared, and radiating an intense hunger. This isn't a temporary venture, it's a strategic move for long-term dominance. The Eagle's endorsement isn't given lightly, and his belief in Islam's ability to thrive in a higher weight class signals a permanent shift in strategy. The goal is clear: capture the welterweight title and solidify a legacy that transcends single-division greatness, rewriting the history books in the process.
I see you in the training camp, in the gym, and you say, if you want to cry, go home to your mom. Just leave. And the way you talk to them is very, very rough. Just take it easy on them. Why you do so much bullying on these guys?
Because when they go to the cage, I wanna sit like everybody else and don't be nervous. Because if I screw them in training,
Khabib didn't stop there, highlighting Islam Makhachev's unwavering discipline and fierce competitive nature as the core qualities that set him apart. These aren't just traits, they are the fundamental drivers behind Islam's relentless approach in the cage. Khabib explains that these two things, discipline and the sheer love for competition, are what truly define Islam, making him a standout athlete in a sport full of tough contenders. It's this innate desire to compete at the highest level, combined with meticulous preparation, that Khabib believes will propel Islam to capture that second belt. Achieving that milestone in Khabib's eyes would solidify Islam's place among the elite, the very best to ever grace the sport of mixed martial arts, a true legend in the making.
Honestly, most difficult part, because all my life I was inside the cage fighting, but now I'm sitting outside and go. This one I don't like, because it's very hard to control what like brothers doing, you know. You can give advice, you know. Can you imagine somebody you go and you go fight, then you cannot help him. It's like same thing. It's not easy, you know. Sometimes like this one fight, last fight, after this fight, 3 days I was coming back in normal self, normal emotion.
In a candid moment, Khabib admitted that coaching is far more difficult than fighting itself. The emotional toll of watching someone he deeply cares about go to war inside the cage while he remains on the outside, able only to offer advice, is immense. He no longer has control once that cage door shuts, and that helplessness is a stark contrast to his own days as an undefeated champion. Khabib pushes his fighters hard in training precisely so they remain calm and confident when the pressure is on. He believes this intense preparation ensures they perform at their absolute best under the bright lights, mitigating the risks he can no longer directly influence. This rare vulnerability from the stoic former champion underscores the immense personal investment he has in Islam's success.
Are you happy to see him be able to be a little bit healthier as well? Like, I imagine towards the end of that lightweight run, he's such a professional, he's always going to be making the weight, but he was always quite a big lightweight, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, he was basically, he'd walk into training camp around 179, 180, and this camp here, he came in about 190, 191, so it's 10 pounds heavier. But you got to remember, there's a big difference between 155 and 170. That's a 15-pound difference. So he has 5 pounds less to lose on this one than the last one. So, that could very well be why he's stronger, this camp, because he didn't have as much to lose, But still, I think, for a 170, I think he's not a bad 170.
Adding to the narrative of a transformed Islam, head coach Javier Mendez revealed a significant detail. Islam Makhachev began this training camp at a noticeably higher weight than usual, roughly 10 pounds heavier than in previous camps. Instead of fighting his natural size, Islam walked into camp around 91 pounds, a stark contrast to his usual 79.80 for lightweight. Mendez emphasized that this added size perfectly suits Islam for the welterweight division, making him a natural fit. He noted that Islam having 5 pounds less to cut for this fight compared to his lightweight bouts could be a key factor in his increased strength. This strategic weight gain suggests a deliberate move to optimize performance, hinting at a new, more powerful Islam ready to leverage his natural frame in a division where size truly matters.
Every part of his game impressed me. He's improved everywhere. The stand-up, the ground, the conditioning, the mentality, you name it. This one, he eclipsed any other camp I've ever been with him. This is the best camp that I've ever seen him do with us. I've never witnessed him being this strong, this mentally prepared, and this hungry. He's this hungry. So I know what I have, and we have a hell of a challenger for that welterweight title, and I really strongly believe that we're going to take that title. But it ain't going to be easy. It ain't going to be easy, But we have to respect Jack immensely in order to be able to do that. If we don't respect him, I think we can run into problems. But the problem with respecting him, everybody in our camp respects him.
Javier Mendez continued, describing Islam's current training camp as the most impressive of his entire career. This wasn't just about weight, it was about holistic growth. Mendez detailed Islam's progress in every single area of his game: striking, grappling, conditioning, and mental fortitude. He's witnessed a complete evolution, a fighter displaying unparalleled growth. Mendez emphasized that this is the strongest, most focused, and most determined version of Islam he has ever seen. This profound level of preparation instills a powerful belief in Mendez that Islam is unequivocally ready to capture the welterweight title, suggesting that the team has left no stone unturned in their pursuit of this historic achievement. The confidence from the coaching staff is palpable, bordering on absolute certainty in their fighters' readiness.
Your first defense is most likely against pound for pound #1 in the world, the lightweight champion Islam Makhachev. Talk me through about that particular matchup and what you think and how excited you are to prove yourself yet again.
Yeah, it's the dream first title defense, pound for pound #1. Get him back to Volk. We saw what Volk did to him.
Meanwhile, Jack Della Maddalena, Islam's opponent, wasn't shying away from a little pre-fight verbal sparring. JDM had previously mocked Islam, claiming he was too small for the welterweight division, exuding supreme confidence that he would beat him at UFC 322. He questioned Islam's ability to compete with true 70-pounders, setting up a classic clash of styles and perceived size advantages. This confident jab at Islam's frame added another layer of intrigue to the fight, challenging the perception of Makhachev's dominance and fueling the underdog narrative for JDM. Such bold statements from Della Maddalena ignite the competitive fire, making the impending showdown even more personal and heightening the anticipation for how Islam will respond to being under.
What did you make of JDM saying that he thinks Islam is too small for the weight class?
I don't know. I mean, they say his camp has also alluded to the fact that Islam's easy to figure out too, and I don't know what their plan is. I really don't. All I know is, you know, we're prepared for a super tough JDM, and don't care what I hear on any side. I know what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a hell of a champion that we respect. We have a huge amount of respect for him. And myself personally, I watched the fight on between him and Bilal Muhammad 7 times, and I've never done that with anybody. 7 times I watched it.
Wow.
That's a lot because I respect him. He's good, man. He's good. You know, I believe we're going to beat him, but we do.
Javier Mendez, ever the strategist, directly addressed JDM's taunts about Islam being too small. While acknowledging the opposing camp's claims that Islam is easy to figure out, Mendez remained unconcerned. He stressed that his team is fully prepared for a super tough challenge from Jack, holding immense respect for him as a champion. Mendez revealed a meticulous level of preparation, personally watching Jack's fight with Bello Muhammad an astonishing 7 times, a first for him. This deep dive into JDM's past performance underscores the seriousness with which Islam's camp is approaching this matchup, dismissing the trash talk as mere noise while focusing intently on their opponent's actual skills and potential threats, showcasing a veteran's respect for the challenge ahead.
Look at the Bilal fight, you know, it was actually, you know, I rewatched that so many times, so I really had that sucker 2-2 until the last round, which is where you know, Jack won. But that was 2-2 in my opinion. You know, I had that really close, you know, and I had it for Jack for sure. But that was a close fight. It wasn't no gimme by any chance. You know, Bilal came in to fight. He just fought the wrong strategy, I feel, and Jack.
Mendez's deep dive into Jack Della Madalena's past also included a detailed reflection on Bilal Muhammad's performance against JDM. He admitted watching that specific fight multiple times, initially scoring it 2-2 going into the final round, where Jack ultimately secured the win. Mendez felt the fight was incredibly competitive, leaning in Jack's favor due to strategy. He pinpointed that Bilal's game plan ultimately worked against him, while Jack executed his strategy perfectly to clinch the victory. This granular analysis from Mendez highlights his understanding of JDM's tactical prowess and ability to adapt, showcasing the meticulous homework Islam's team is doing. It's a testament to their belief that understanding their opponent's past battles is key to unlocking victory in the upcoming contest.
When it comes to the striking of Islam Makhachev, I saw an interview with you in Style Bender, where you said you would rate it above Khabib. In general, how would you rank his stand-up if it were to stay on the feet?
I think he's got good stand-up. He's a well-rounded. He throws it all: elbows, knees, kicks, punches. He's got power, southpaw. It's a tough fight, you know. I definitely don't look at him as just a grappler. And yeah, the fight isn't just keeping it on the feet and it's going to be easy. The fight is pretty much the whole fight. It's a tough fight. One of the best martial artists in the world, you know. So there's no, I definitely I don't look at him as just a grappler. I think he's definitely, his strength is obviously in the grappling, but it's still a tough fight on the feet, and I've got to make the right decisions. But I think I've got the upper.
Jack Della Madalena, despite his confidence, acknowledged that the fight with Islam Makhachev would be far from easy. He expressed genuine respect for Islam as a well-rounded fighter, pushing back against the common narrative that Makhachev is only a grappler. JDM highlighted Islam's strong striking, noting his capability to throw elbows, knees, kicks, and powerful punches from the southpaw stance. He described Islam as one of the best martial artists in the world, a tough opponent everywhere the fight might go. This insight from Della Madalena indicates a clear understanding of the comprehensive threat Islam poses. Moving beyond simplistic labels, his assessment confirms that both men recognize the breadth of skills each brings to the octagon, setting the stage for a multifaceted clash.
Jack or Islam? Islam will get the Jack will do that. My trainer, asking the coach for the way to what he gonna say, we'll see. European 10% odsvor, más o menos. Islam lukta bien buena. Yo sam to bien. Coach is 55% Madalena, 45 Islam. I think Islam will see. Both good fighters. Islam moving up, it's interesting to see what's he gonna do. But I think Islam will be more, he gonna use his
Despite recognizing Islam's all-around skills, Jack Della Maddalena maintained a strong belief in his own striking capabilities. He stated confidently that if the fight were to predominantly remain on the feet, he holds the upper hand. JDM believes that by making the right choices during the stand-up exchanges, he can leverage his striking advantage. This conviction underscores a critical element of his game plan, dictating the range and rhythm to keep the fight in his preferred domain. While acknowledging Islam's proficiency in striking, JDM's self-assurance in a stand-up battle highlights the strategic chess match that will unfold. The fight, in his mind, will be decided by whose will and strategy prevail in controlling the engagement points, and he's ready to prove his striking is superior.
How do you think Islam does next weekend?
JDM is a tough. He's not much of a puzzle, man. He's pretty basic, but he is brilliant and violent and devastating with the basics, man. A little bit of range, a little bit of reach on Islam, and I won't even sit there and say, because Islam's a different breed, man. I wouldn't sit there and say, oh, he's a 155er, so he's not used to going with 170 pounders. I would not be surprised if Islam, his entire career, has been sparring with 55, 70, 185, and 205ers, because the dude's kind of a nut. So I think I don't think strength or size is going to be the problem. It's really going to be the dichotomy between JDM's great striking abilities and is his takedown defense enough to stop the onslaught of wrestling that.
A powerful motivation for Jack Della Maddalena is the desire to avenge his countryman, Alexander Volkanovski. JDM expressed immense respect for Volkanovski's performance against Islam, especially in their first fight where the odds were heavily stacked against him. He felt the atmosphere in the arena and the general sentiment that Volkanovski might have won. The second bout, fought on extremely short notice, was an even greater challenge. JDM is driven to deliver a win for his fellow Australian and the fans, aiming to make things right in the eyes of the audience. This national pride and a sense of shared responsibility add an emotional layer to JDM's fight, transforming it from a mere title shot into a mission to reclaim pride for his nation.
Feel on this fight? Like, do you have a good feeling on who you think might win this one?
Yeah, I mean, this is my unbiased opinion. I'm not just saying this because I'm in Australia, but I feel like JDM has a really good chance going into this fight. I mean, he's definitely proven himself being able to shut down the wrestling in his fight against Bilal Muhammad here most recently. And I think he's going to go out there and really shock a lot of people. I mean, I think a lot of people are giving him credit. You're accustomed to seeing guys like Islam win, and you're accustomed to associating his success with Khabib's success. But at the end of the day, those guys are two completely different fighters, and I think JDM
Khamzat Chimaev weighed in on the matchup, predicting a clear victory for Islam Makhachev over Jack Della Maddalena at UFC 322. Chimaev finds the fight intriguing, especially with Islam moving up a weight class, but ultimately sees Islam's wrestling as the decisive factor. He confidently predicted that Makhachev would use his superior grappling to control the fight from start to finish. Chimaev believes that Islam's relentless wrestling pressure will steadily limit Jack's striking opportunities as the rounds progress, eventually breaking him down. This prediction from a fellow elite wrestler like Chimaev offers a strong endorsement of Islam's ground game, suggesting that his grappling prowess will be too much for JDM, even in a new division, confirming the widely anticipated strategic approach.
What do you actually feel like is going to be the X factor here for JDM to be able to beat someone as accomplished and difficult as Islam Makhachev here?
Back exposure and takedown defense and wrestling up, period. I mean, it just doesn't seem very difficult for me to think that if this fight is a striking contest predominantly, Islam's going to have real problems. Islam is not a striker by any stretch of the imagination. I think everyone would agree, but he's not JDM. And again, up a weight class too, not just in terms of pure ability, but how that leverages up a weight class. If he can make this a striking contest, then, predominantly, not exclusively, of course, but predominantly, then.
However, Michael Chandler offered a counter perspective, slightly favoring Jack Della Maddalena. Chandler admired JDM's clean fundamentals and accurate striking, highlighting his skill in managing distance while applying consistent pressure to disrupt opponents. While acknowledging that Islam's team has trained with larger, stronger partners, mitigating concerns about size, Chandler believes the deciding factor will be Jack's ability to stay composed under Islam's relentless wrestling. Can JDM continue to land effective shots while defending takedown? Chandler feels Jack has the tools to shock fans and potentially secure the win, positioning him as a live underdog with the skill set to upset the heavily favored champion. This adds another layer of intriguing expert analysis, highlighting the
but you know, if he's constantly getting taken down, if he is being held down, if he is giving up back exposure, even then he might be able to find ways to win, but it makes the job radically more difficult. This is, if you're going to get taken, first of all, don't get taken down. And if you're going to get taken down, don't create back exposure and wrestle up quickly without creating submission opportunities. Like, that is the name of the game, in addition to how you set that up with your striking. But that wrestling up.
Luke Thomas, a respected analyst, detailed Jack Della Maddalena's specific path to victory, emphasizing strong takedown defense and avoiding back exposure as paramount. He firmly believes that if the fight remains largely on the feet, Islam Makhachev will face significant difficulties. While acknowledging Islam's striking ability, Thomas argues that JDM's superior skills, paired with the size difference from Islam moving up a weight class, would give him a clear edge in a primarily stand-up contest. This analysis zeroes in on the critical tactical battle that will define the fight, underscoring the necessity for JDM to control the exchanges and prevent Islam from imposing his will on the ground. The fight for JDM becomes a question of how effectively he can nullify Islam's primary weapon.
What is your feel on this one? And also, what do you think of the odds, man? Islam very heavy favorite going into this one.
Okay, I mean, I was obviously backing Jack. Like, Jack's, he's one of the boys from our neighborhood, so he's from outside of the world. And look, Islam, there's a blueprint for beating Islam. He's been knocked out before, and Volk's beaten him already. You know what I'm saying?
Thomas continued to elaborate on JDM's wrestling defense strategy, stressing that if Jack is taken down, he must quickly return to his feet without exposing himself to submission opportunities. The name of the game, according to Thomas, is a combination of solid wrestling defense, minimal back exposure, and effective striking. He warned that if JDM is constantly getting taken down, held down, or giving up his back, his job becomes radically more difficult, even if he finds ways to win. This rigorous breakdown highlights the razor-thin margins in elite MMA and the critical importance of preventing Islam from establishing dominance in any phase of the grappling exchanges, turning the contest into a precise test of JDM's defensive acumen and tactical discipline.
But yeah, there's a bit of a blueprint out there. Look, if you can, obviously it's a difficult thing to counter the wrestling, but Islam, you'll find holes. What you have to do with Islam is you have to get him. He's very good at throwing one shot. He can pick you off and throw one shot very well. You need to put Islam in a position where he has to fight to win the round, and that means he has to put 2 and 3 punches together. His vulnerabilities come when he has to fight with you and put 2 or 3 punches together. That's when the holes start appearing, and that's because you're a wrestler. Like, at a high level, the holes start really appearing when there's a lot of pressure, and you have to put 2 or 3 punches together to hang with the other person. And that's where Jack will find the vulnerabilities. But they know that, bro. They're a very smart team, and
Eugene Behrman, head coach of City Kickboxing and renowned for coaching Alexander Volkanovski, fully backed Jack Della Maddalena, emphasizing that JDM represents their region. Behrman asserted that Islam Makhachev isn't unbeatable, citing his previous knockout loss and Volkanovski's hard-fought success against him as examples of vulnerabilities. He acknowledged that while some fans might disagree, a clear strategy to challenge Makhachev already exists. Behrman's perspective, coming from a camp that has first-hand experience with Islam, provides a compelling argument for JDM's chances. His confidence isn't just hometown bias, it's rooted in a belief that Islam's past battles offer a blueprint for victory, offering tangible hope for the underdog against a seemingly invincible champion.
I don't know, man. I mean, when you're going up to the welterweight division, those are some big boys. And I know Islam Makhachev walks around fairly heavy, but a lot of these 170s, they walk around real heavy. I'm talking about, over 205, 210 to the 215. Some of the guys that I faced would walk around at that weight. I think like the height, I think they might be the same height. I think JD might be a little taller, but when it comes to those guys and their strength, Islam, I think, is going to have a tough time. Now, do I think he could get it done? Yes. I think he's that good of a grappler, But like I said, JDM has faced some of the best welterweight grapplers and wrestlers in the division.
Behrman expanded on his blueprint for beating Islam, admitting that countering his wrestling is incredibly difficult, but not impossible. He explained that Islam is deadly with single, precise strikes, but openings appear when he's forced into extended combination. Behrman believes that applying consistent pressure to make Islam throw multiple punches could expose these gaps, allowing disciplined strikers like Jack to exploit those vulnerabilities. This tactical insight suggests that forcing Islam out of his comfort zone, away from one-shot power and into sustained striking exchanges is key. It's a strategy designed to capitalize on the nuances of a wrestler's striking game, where prolonged exchanges might reveal defensive cracks that Jack can exploit with his precise striking.
Islam, how is he looking going into this fight now that we're so close to his welterweight debut? What does a welterweight Islam Makhachev look like in the training room?
He's the best Islam. If Islam right now fought the old Islam, we beat him in the first round. He's big, he's strong, he's healthy, he's happy, he's not suffering cutting weight, and he's very, very strong. He make every.
Adding another layer of uncertainty, Stephen Thompson considered the fight unpredictable, highlighting the significant physical demands of moving to welterweight. Thompson pointed out that many 170-pound fighters walk around well over 200 pounds, which could challenge Islam Makhachev despite his solid build, even if their heights are similar. While acknowledging Islam's grappling edge, Thompson noted that Jack Della Maddalena has already handled top welterweight wrestlers in the division, making it an incredibly tough test for both fighters. This perspective from a seasoned welterweight veteran like Thompson underscores the unique challenges of the division, suggesting that raw strength and size could play a more significant role than some anticipate, adding genuine unpredictability to the outcome of this high-stakes clash. The stage is set for UFC 322, a fight brimming with contrasting narratives, bold predictions, and high-stakes implications for the welterweight division. From Khabib's long-term vision of multi-divisional dominance for a best-ever Islam, to JDM's confident claims of being too small in his mission to avenge a countryman, every angle promises fireworks. The expert analyses reveal a tactical chess match, Islam's unprecedented strength and refined grappling against JDM's sharp striking and resilient takedown defense. The question isn't just who wins, but how this transformed Islam Makhachev performs at 170 pounds, and whether Jack Della Maddalena can leverage his skills and the perceived size advantage to pull off a monumental upset, forever changing the landscape of both divisions.